Last year was a great year for gaming with many highly anticipated games like Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2 and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom releasing that year. This year may not be as exciting as last year but is still shaping to be an amazing year for games as there are many great games coming this year from which we have highlighted a few. Gaming Hub presents Top 10 Upcoming Games of 2024, Part 1. Number 10. Hades 2. Hades 2 is a roguelike video game developed by Supergiant Games and will launch in early access for Windows in Q2 2024 and later on consoles. It is a direct sequel to Hades, and will take place after the events of the first game. Its protagonist is Melina, the princess of the underworld and sister of Zagreus, the protagonist of the first game. Melina seeks to defeat Kronos, the Titan of Time, with help from Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft, and other Olympian gods and figures. Number 9. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl is an upcoming first-person shooter survival horror video game developed and published by Ukrainian game developer GSC Game World. It will be the fourth game released in the Stalker video game series, the first game in the series released on consoles, as well as the first Stalker game in 15 years since the release of Call of Pripyat in 2009. It was originally supposed to be released in 2012 but was then cancelled. Then in 2014 it was announced to be in development. It was then announced a third time in 2018, with a trailer releasing in 2021. It is a Microsoft exclusive and will be released on Windows, Xbox Series X and S and on Xbox Game Pass on September 5, 2024. Number 8. Rise of the Ronin. Rise of the Ronin is an upcoming action role-playing video game developed by Team Ninja and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment for the PS5. Rise of the Ronin is set in Edo, in the late 19th century during Bakumatsu, the final years of the Edo period. The game depicts the Boshin War between the Tokugawa shogunate and various anti-shogunate factions displeased with the Western influence after the forced reopening of Japan following the Sakoku period. Rise of the Ronin allows players to create a custom character. Combat features a wide array of weapons common during the Boshin War, such as katanas and various Boshin War firearms. The game features story choices at key moments, allowing players to side with or fight against various non-player characters, affecting the story. Historic cities Yokohama, Kyoto and Edo can be explored, as well as areas in the countryside. The player can traverse with various means, such as a horse, grappling hook or glider. The game is scheduled to release for the PlayStation 5 on March 22, 2024. Number 7. Black Myth: Wukong. Black Myth: Wukong is an upcoming action role-playing game made by Chinese developer Game Science, based on the classical 16th century Chinese novel Journey to the West. The player controls a monkey based on Sun Wukong, referred to in the game as the Destined One, to fight through an assortment of enemies. The player also has the ability to transform into a flying insect or a giant monster. It is set to release on August 20, 2024 on PS5, Xbox Series X and S and Windows. Number 6. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is an upcoming action-adventure game developed by Machine Games, to be published by Bethesda Softworks. It is based on the Indiana Jones franchise and will feature an original narrative that draws from the film series. Set between the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the story follows archaeologist Indiana Jones in 1937, as he attempts to thwart various groups who are seeking to harness a power connected to the Great Circle, which refers to mysterious sites around the world that form a perfect circle when connected together on a map. The game spans numerous real-world locales such as Rome, Thailand, Egypt, and the Himalayas. The Great Circle is primarily played from a first-person perspective, with third-person being employed for contextual elements such as environmental interaction. Players control Indy as they navigate through a mix of linear, story-sensitive areas and wider, exploratory landscapes. Combat can either be directly engaged with or circumvented entirely through the use of stealth mechanics, and the character's signature whip can be used as both a weapon, or as a means for traversing across obstacles and solving various puzzles to uncover alternate paths and obscured collectibles. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is set to release exclusively for Windows and Xbox Series X and S in 2024. Number 5. Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 2 is an upcoming action role-playing game developed and published by Capcom. A sequel to Dragon's Dogma that was released in 2012. In the game, the player takes on the role of a character called the Arisen, a hero marked by a dragon who they must defeat, all while exploring the world they live in, taking on quests, and fighting monsters, in the process being caught up in a geopolitical conflict between two kingdoms. The game is set in a seamless open world that is 4 times larger than the map in the first game, and is a parallel world to that of the previous title. The game is set to be released for PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series X and S on March 22, 2024. Number 4. Silent Hill 2 Remake. Silent Hill 2 is an upcoming survival horror video game developed by Bloober Team and published by Konami. It is a remake of the 2001 game of the same name. It will be the first major installment in the Silent Hill series since Silent Hill: Downpour that was released in 2012. Like the original game, it follows James Sunderland, a widower who returns to the eponymous town of Silent Hill upon receiving a letter from his deceased wife Mary, who claims to be waiting there for him. Silent Hill 2 will feature an over-the-shoulder, third-person perspective, similar to the recent remakes in the Resident Evil franchise, with a revised combat system. Silent Hill 2 is set to be released in 2024 for Windows and is a timed console exclusive for PS5 at launch, before being eligible for release on other platforms following 1 year. Number 3. Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws is an open-world single-player, third-person action-adventure game set in the Star Wars universe, developed by Massive Entertainment and published by Ubisoft under license from Lucasfilm's games. The game will feature stealth and open combat, vehicle combat, space combat, and branching dialogue. The game takes place during the period between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. It is scheduled to release for PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series X and S in 2024. Number 2. Metal Gear Solid Delta: Snake Eater. Metal Gear Solid Delta: Snake Eater is an upcoming action-adventure stealth video game developed and published by Konami. It is a remake of the 2004 game Metal Gear Solid 3: Snake Eater, the 5th main entry in the Metal Gear franchise and the 3rd entry in the Metal Gear Solid series and the first chronological game overall. Like the original, the remake is set in 1964 and follows a Fox operative codenamed Naked Snake, who must save a Russian rocket scientist and sabotage the Shagohod, a Soviet nuclear superweapon, while also clearing his country from Soviet suspicion amid Cold War tensions and confronting his former mentor the Boss, who has defected to their side. Metal Gear Solid Delta: Snake Eater is the first major entry in the Metal Gear franchise since Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, which was released in 2015. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater was announced in May 2023 at PlayStation Showcase 2023 and is scheduled to release for PlayStation 5, Windows and Xbox Series X and S in 2024. Number 1. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is an upcoming action role-playing game developed and published by Square Enix. It is a sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake and the second in a planned trilogy of games remaking the 1997 PlayStation game Final Fantasy VII. Just like its predecessor, the gameplay will combine real-time action with strategic and role-playing elements. Set immediately after Remake's events, players will control the mercenary Cloud Strife and a party of characters principally comprising the eco-terrorist group Avalanche, who band together and embark on a journey across the planet to prevent the megacorporation Shinra from exploiting its life essence, the Lifestream, as an energy source, and defeat former elite soldier Sephiroth, who intends on uniting with the planet to achieve greater power. It is scheduled to release for the PlayStation 5 on February 29, 2024. Thanks for watching. Do like, subscribe, and share and watch other videos.